What's going on, fam? My name is Rick Ortiz, and this is the Real Talk podcast. As some of you have known, I had a podcast in the past, and we're kind of just carrying it on. A completely different look, completely different feel. We're being 100% real and looking to provide 100% of real value to someone's life. So, anybody that's joining, hope you guys, are enjoying everything that we got in store. And I'm here with two of the best in the game here in San Antonio. I have my man Martin and my man Ricardo. Both have played a real impact in my life, and they're really good friends of mine now. So we're going to keep it 100% real today and just, kind of have a casual conversation, but we have a lot to talk about. So let's just kind of dive into it. Ricardo, Martin, thank you guys for kind of joining.
Appreciate
and,
you. Thanks for having us.
Going off the rip. So let's start with Ricardo. Ricardo, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where you started? Are you born here? No. Where you come from, and where are you today?
No, I'm a small border town boy from El Paso.
Okay.
I don't feel like I was raised or like made in El Paso. I was just born there. Mm-hmm. El Paso, there's really no growth, unfortunately, or at least from when I was living there, right?
Yeah.
Nothing but partying.
Yeah.
Getting drunk.
I've never been there, but from just everything I hear and see, it's like there's not a lot going on.
Dude, when I was 13, I started drinking. Like, let's just say that. Like, I was getting wasted. But anyways, from that, I ended up moving to Miami, and that's where I really had most of my growth.
Yeah. What took you over there?
So my cousin moved over there at one point, and he was growing a lot during that time. And so I was like, I need something different. All I'm doing is getting drunk, getting into trouble, going to jail, like getting into a bunch of problems with my friends and whatnot. And I was like, I need something different. Like, I don't have anything going for me here.
Yeah.
And I knew that he was like, so he was a manager for AT&T, and I was like, I just need to go over there and just like use him as an example, like leadership wise and stuff.
A big brother.
Something like that. And so I was like, bro, let me go over there, live with you, and like, make life happen.
Yeah, make a change.
Unfortunately, it wasn't that way. It was more of a struggle. It got to the point where he had to move back.
Oh, wow.
I ended up on the streets.
You stayed over there?
Yeah.
He moved back and you stayed over there?
He moved back. I stayed over there. I had an ex-girlfriend that moved and followed me over there. And, my dumb ass, went and moved in with her, and we got into some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Went back to jail because of her.
Yeah.
Like,
standard.
But yeah, it just got really crazy. I ended up going broke because of her. I was making good money. Don't get me wrong. Like, I was making really good money. I started working at like some famous strip clubs over there, and like doing VIP bottle service and stuff. And she was involved in strip clubs and stuff too. And like, she got mad that I started working for them and making a lot of money. And so she's like, you better get out of there. Yeah. So I ended up quitting, and I started going broke. I started losing everything just for this one girl. It was freaking crazy, right? Went to jail, and then I got out. And then after that, I kind of, I was going to school for music. I moved over there initially because I wanted to be a music artist.
Right.
Really. And I was like, cool, Miami,
music
artist.
That's the scene. Yeah.
And so in these clubs, all I met was celebrities, music artists, and stuff like that. And so I started getting very involved with it. I ended up going to school for it.
Damn.
And,
I didn't even know that.
What was it? SAE was the school. And I started meeting a whole bunch of people. They started getting me involved. And I remember finally the last day when I finally was like, I'm done, I'm giving up. Like, they called me and they're like, hey, come visit us. Come to the house, come to the studio. And so they were basically trying to get me to stay, put me on a contract, and create music and stuff. And I declined it all. I said, no, I'm leaving. I already booked my flight today.
Damn.
They're like, well, at least lay down a song. So I laid down a song for them, did some vocals for them, and took off that day.
Sheesh.
I went back to El Paso.
Oh, okay.
And then from there, my wife, which was not my wife at the time, texted me, and she's like, hey, I'm in San Antonio. If you need a room, we got you.
How did you know her?
So my family, she's the nanny for my family at the time.
Man, that's nuts, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
And so they went to a wedding for my niece out there in Miami on a cruise, and they were like, hey, let's meet up. Let's link up before we go on this cruise. Let's go to the beach. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll meet you guys out there. Well, she was there, and I was like, damn. But like, I was still respectful. I was still all about myself and still about my ex at the time. And so I went on this cruise, and you know, I didn't really think of anything of it, but I already knew. I was like, damn, she's bad.
Yeah. In your mind, you were like,
Yeah.
man, I keep looking that way for a reason, right?
And so she hit me up when I moved back to El Paso. I was there for like a week and a half or so, and then she texted me and she's like, hey, you should move here. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll think about it. I kind of ghosted her at that point.
Yeah.
And then the last night that I was gonna book my flight back to Miami to go round 2 with my ex and try to, you know, reconcile everything.
See what's gonna happen.
I decided not to, and I was like, hey, I texted her and I was like, hey, I'm ready to go over there back to, go to San Antonio, where all my family from El Paso had moved to San Antonio at that point.
Okay.
And so I moved in, and like 3 days later, you know,
Come on.
Your boy Ricardo, you know.
it just went from there, and that's how we're married.
Dang, bro, that's nuts, bro. Well, that's a crazy story, and I didn't even know half of that. So I know I've heard like here and there little parts of your story, but that's nuts, bro. Especially from a nanny, like
dude, just
crazy,
having small conversations with him.
Yeah,
like I can't wait for his book to come out, because whenever it does come out, like
it's gonna be crazy, bro.
I mean, there's
I
a lot more to it all.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a huge story.
And you know, it's funny because whenever I have conversations with Ricardo, it's like we're just talking, and then he throws out something like
random,
bro, like just some insane stuff, like it's just nothing, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, let's rewind that a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's bring that back. Yeah, bro.
And it's like, bro, it's like I've lived some crazy stuff.
And you're just used to it. Like you've gone through some crazy stuff, bro. That's crazy. Well, Martin, I'm sure your story's not that crazy.
No, not that crazy at all.
He's like, hi, Martin, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like,
so Martin, tell me where you're from. You know, are you born here? Born and raised here?
No, I was born here, downtown San Antonio. Yeah. So, I've. You know, I don't know anything else. You know, I travel all over the world now, which is fun. But for the most part, like, you know, when they say, hey, you're gonna go to Paris, I'm all like, well, like Paris, Texas. Like there's never anything like that. So it's pretty awesome, because we're finally gonna be able to take a trip to Paris this in January. So we're excited about that. Yeah. So the Spurs are gonna be playing out there. So I'm gonna. You know, kill two birds with one stone. Bro. Take my wife and then go out there. But you know, amazing. just growing up, you never thought about having the type of experience like that. Like corner store food was fine dining back in the day. Now it's just completely different. It still is. It still is.
That's it. It's different when you like you like willingly go get it, right? Like it's crazy. But yeah, that's the thing, you know. And I've heard. I think it was Russ that said it, but it was J. Cole.
Dude, I didn't know you were such a big Russ fan.
I'm a big Russ fan,
is
bro.
sick,
Russ
bro.
is tight, bro. Yeah, he came from the bottom too, bro. Produced all that stuff. He just never gave up, you know? Like that's why he inspires me like that, you know? Like it's crazy. A lot of people don't really know too much about him. I'm his brother, right? But no, bro, he's been through a lot too, though. It's crazy. But so J. Cole said that. J. Cole, I forgot how he said it, but he along those lines of like, now he's got money, so he does things now. The only thing like is like now he has money, so when he does certain stuff, it's like it's willingly, right? Like whether it's going back to his roots or doing this or doing that. And I mean, we could talk about that all day as far as like staying true to your roots. So like, what would you say helps you kind of stay grounded? Because I mean, both of you guys are very, very humble, bro. Like, and I mean, let's be real, like we've all made a decent amount of money. And real estate has changed our life forever.
100%.
So what would you say keeps you grounded?
So like one of the big things for me is my wife. Like you know, for me, just knowing that she's that one that like if you have a hot air balloon and she has that rope, she's like bringing my ass down, because sometimes I kind of go off the rails a little bit, and that would like and you guys know, like when you guys have money, you're out with your friends, you're trying to buy out the bar. That's just how it goes.
100%.
But you know, just because that's what we see on music videos, that we see on all this other stuff. So like the people are balling out. We want to we want to do that for our people too. But I think that was one of the big things. And then two, I also had another mentor. He humbled me big times. Like he's all like, bro, you ain't shit. So shout out to Mark Harris.
Mark Harris.
Man, he's and two, sometimes you do need those good friends to check you, because like what you'll see, and this is just for everybody, like when you see people take those shots, when you see people like not reach for that check when you're at the restaurants, like, those are the ones you got to be worried about, because those are the ones that are not gonna give a shit. Because once those free meals or free drinks go away, like they no longer care. But it's the people that are willing to check you and be like, hey, dude, like you're doing great. I'm proud of you.
But hey,
take a step back. Like, take a deep breath, and it would be better. But I think we all just need people just like that to help humble ourselves. But the other thing too is, like, when I was younger, we were like recipients of like getting school supplies, clothing, etc. Right? So I always tell a story. Back in the day, we used to not have like hand-me-downs. My aunt would go and take from the rich and give to us, the poor, right? But she would steal it and then like sell it to us for like $2-3, right?
Yeah.
But
What's your name?
The thing about it, shout out to my aunt. But you would think about it. Like, it was a sacrifice that she had to also make because we just school supplies was expensive and all that other stuff. So
gotta do what you gotta do.
So she was the Robin Hood of the hood. Let's just say that.
That's crazy.
But she, when we were able to receive some of those free items, I also wanted to be a part of that and give back to like the community. So we started doing a backpack drive. So we were already on our 6th year. So
that's dope, bro.
but I want kids to really like receive it. And then my thing is, I don't care about publicizing it or making it known anywhere. My thing is, I want one of those kids to be like, hey, I received it when I was a kid. I want to do it.
And they want to recreate it, make it better themselves. That's huge, bro. That's a huge impact. You talked about doing, just kind of being able to do things now, right? So you guys are going to Paris. You just took a trip. Where'd y'all go?
We went to San Diego.
Okay.
We were there for a week. Oh man, it was great. So we were there a couple of times, business trips, weddings.
Oh, okay.
And then we have a good friend of ours that lives out there. He just had a baby. Unfortunately, we weren't able to meet up because he was out of town. But man, San Diego is just beautiful.
Is it?
Honestly, I feel like San Diego is like a San Antonio. The culture is exactly the same. The food's very similar. Pricing, they're more expensive because of course it's Cali.
For sure.
Gas prices are a lot more expensive, but when you think about, like, all right, we have SeaWorld, they got SeaWorld.
Yeah.
They have probably one of the most underrated Legolands in the world. Honestly, I had more fun there than I think my kids did.
The kids did.
Heck yeah. So for us, like, that was something like I really wanted my kids to enjoy. Yeah. And then too, like, everybody's like, well, your daughter's 1 year old, she's not gonna remember that. I was like, but I'll remember it, and that means more to me.
Yeah. So Ricardo, you're going to Alaska, right?
Yeah.
First time there?
First time.
What makes you want to go to Alaska?
Well, for one,
I've heard some crazy stuff about Alaska. I heard it's very beautiful and everything, but
so I don't really take vacations. I'm not the kind of person to take vacations. I'm always stressing about work and have anxiety about it. Every time I go on vacation, like, it's the worst time while I'm out.
Are we good?
Oh, the thing disconnected.
Are we good? I just want to make sure.
Okay.
So I have like the worst time while I'm on vacation, and so I've been doing very good recently, and I just felt like it was time for me to give myself something.
Yeah, you need it, dude.
Yeah. Well, in all honesty, bro, like we're all pretty heavy on social media, and I feel like I've followed your story from the day I met you at Lennar till now, and I don't think I've seen you take many vacations, bro.
No, I don't. It's not some, like, you going back to the humbling part.
Yeah.
I'm just always remembering and reminding myself about the shit that I went through.
Yeah.
Like that.
You just don't want to go back, bro.
No, like, Miami was a vacation. You know what I mean? Like, I could go and do all of that stuff whenever.
Right.
But like, who's gonna take care of my family?
Facts.
Like, what am I gonna do next?
Yeah.
In the next few years, how am I gonna get there? If I'm vacationing and having all this fun, how am I gonna get there?
Yeah.
I want to be a millionaire.
That's dope, bro.
But also, I feel rich with what I got. With what I have right now,
beautiful.
I feel rich.
That's tough. Yeah.
But I only have like $5 in the bank account.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
So actually, one of my clients that I helped sell his home here in San Antonio, he was gonna buy a Perry home. I think I remember I told you about this story. And then his job was like, hey, you're moving to Alaska.
I remember that.
He ended up canceling that home and moving to Alaska. And so he just came to visit recently. And I don't have a lot of friends. You guys know I don't really
put yourself out there.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of friends. Like, I talk to you guys. Like, I don't even go out to realtor events, really.
Yeah. No, you hardly do.
And so there's very few people that I'll actually hang out with and talk to or keep really close to me where I'm like, I'd hang out with this person. I'd go out with this person. I'd do things with this person. And so he's like, hey, you guys should come to Alaska. And I'm like, and my wife was like, hey, you wanted to go on a vacation.
Yeah.
And like, it's super hot. We're going to go to Florida.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you should go to Alaska. I'm like, bro, like,
that's a good idea.
I'm tired of having, you know, what is it called? Swamp ass and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
no, for
sweating balls over here. Like,
it's crazy.
maybe we do go to Alaska and have a good time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we, like, literally, they came, and the very next day we booked, they were like, let's just go.
That's legit, bro. Well, yeah, I mean, good for you, dog. I mean, you guys, I mean, you deserve it, bro. Like, you and the family, like you said, I mean, you haven't really, I haven't seen you vacation.
Mm-hmm. I think the last trip he took was Vegas when we went for that WealthCon,
and
but that was work.
Even for work.
Yeah, that was work.
I didn't even have fun. It was honestly a bad time.
I had fun. I had a lot of fun.
I was dealing with some crazy stuff, and I was just like ready to go home.
Yeah,
I was like, nah,
I'm ready to get back. Yeah. Dang, that's crazy. So what was that for in Vegas?
So it was WealthCon. So pretty much they had speakers from all over. It was great.
That's tight.
Dude, there's this guy, and when I came back super inspired, right? I was just like I was on one.
When was this?
I know what you're talking about.
This was kind of recent, right? Or
yeah,
no?
this was
I had a dude. It's funny that you say that because I had a conversation with Martin shortly after he came back, and he was like, I had never seen like somebody just lit him on fire, and I was like, bro,
Nick
what
was
is
the guy
going on?
So he had no legs. He had one arm, one finger, right? But man, you know, there's this clip, and you know, this is something that for me it motivated me. So he was talking, and hopefully I don't steal any of his thunder, but hopefully he does watch this because it's something that impacted me, and I also showed my kids it impacted them. It made them super competitive. Dang. So there was a time when he was a kid. He was always like smiling face, you know, trying to encourage people to get out of their comfort zone, try new things. And then one of the kids was like, man, Nick, if you're such a badass and you're over here saying don't, you know, let anything hold you back from doing it, why don't you try out for the wrestling team? And then he has like a little arm that sticks out a little bit more. Yeah. Well, he's like, I can't because my skin, my bone sticks out 5 inches too far. So if I like have one wrong movement, I can tear it and my bone will go through my skin. Dang. So then later on that day, he's over here contemplating on how he wants to tell his family he wants to cut off a piece of that. And then he ends up convincing his parents that, hey, I want to wrestle, I want to cut this part off. So then he goes, and his mom was like, hey, don't say it like that, Nick. Like, the proper word is amputate. Like, you want to amputate your arm. Mm-hmm. So then he's like, okay, well, let us look into it, because his parents were never the ones that try to tell him, hey, you know, you can't do it because of your disability. You can't do it because you don't have any legs. Mm-hmm. So then he goes, meets with a doctor, ends up getting it cut off. He had stitches, goes to school happy as fuck, you know, right? Yeah. He's all like, you know, hey, look at that. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna try out for wrestling. He got whooped every single time, right? So like those other kids, they show no mercy. But there was one of the parents.
I would hope they didn't. Like,
see, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But come on, it's like not to sound mean or anything, but
I'd slap his ass too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's kind of like, have you ever as a kid wrestled with a pillow? Like, come on, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, one of the parents came and said, my daughter, she saw you out there and you were giving it your best. Like, now she wants to try new things. So, dang, like, she came crying to him. Yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, man, this guy, like, there's no excuse for anybody. No matter, like, you know, mentally, like, people go through some shit. Yeah. And then there's another part where, like, man, it really impacted me. He was telling a story where his brother ended up overdosing. Mm-hmm. And his dad called. He's like, hey, I don't have the strength to tell your sisters. So can you call them and please tell them? And then at the time, like, he looked at his dad as his hero. The strongest man he knows. Now it's coming to a man that has two legs. I mean, has no legs and one arm. Yeah. He had like one finger. To do something that he can't do himself. Yeah. And to me, like, I'm like, man, there's nothing holding anybody back.
Yeah, that's tougher than anything.
So, God, bro, for me, that was a big wake up moment.
Yeah, he was one of the biggest inspirations for me too.
I didn't even go to the rest of the.
Even that girl too. Remember that girl? Were you there for that one? I forgot her name.
No, I think I missed that one.
Yeah,
I was really gambling.
How many days was it?
It was
2 days.
I went for like 2.
Yeah, I went. There was 3 days total.
Yeah, because he convinced me last minute. I was like, yeah, I'll go out there. Like the week of, right?
Dude, every time I go to like those type of events, I'm always like I'm already like mindset and stuff, and then I go to them and I hear all those stories. I'm like,
no way.
Holy shit, I pumped up.
Like
again.
how,
like
how driven?
it.
Yeah, like how driven can you be? You know, I was thinking about something on the way over here as far as like topics to talk about and stuff, but one of the topics that kind of came to my head was like self-motivation. You know, and as a realtor, an entrepreneur, or whatever, that's like the hardest part, bro. And like we go through these ups and downs, right? Everybody does. But you still have to constantly kick yourself in the ass and tell yourself, hey, look, nobody's going to make you get up, right? Because you're your own boss. Nobody's going to... There's sometimes we even schedule appointments and we're like,
I don't even want to go.
Bro, I did this like 4 days in a row already. Like, I kind of don't want to go, you know what I mean? But we got to keep it trucking, you know? Like you said, we got goals, bro. And nobody's going to help us continue that, you know? What do you think is one of the biggest things, I guess, that help you keep going or continue to kick yourself in the butt and tell yourself like
my bills are huge.
Bills will do everything.
I mean, obviously, like my family, like that's the biggest thing. I just had a baby, 3-month-old.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Fucking love her.
First baby, right?
My first baby, my wife's second.
That's dope, dude.
But like my stepdaughter, she's helped me grow a lot too, and like.
Yeah. How old your stepdaughter?
She's 11.
Oh
now.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy.
Man, I think she's 12. I don't even know anymore.
But she's around that age. Yeah, she's around that age. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And, so that's a lot of. I tell people that all the time. It's like, dude, imagine having to wake up every single day and just motivate yourself to go, especially as an entrepreneur, like you say, like you don't have a 9 to 5 to go to. You have nobody to tell you gotta be here if you want to make this money. Like you gotta wake up every single day and go get it. And so that's one of the. Every morning I wake up and I'm like, if I don't wake up, I got this little girl, my wife, my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is also sick. She's got some cancer going on and stuff, and I took her into my house. And so now like I gotta take care of everybody. And not only that, but I'm also now paying for like my dad's bills. And different things, like a lot of stuff just started coming in, and like it freaks me out, but it's also motivation. It's like, nah, I like all of this stuff. Like this is good, because if I didn't feel a certain way about this stuff and I was too comfortable, like I'm not making money. So every day I'll put on like Eric Morgan on YouTube and stuff, and I love how he shit talks. Like, quit being a little bitch.
Bro, yeah, he'll tell you. He just
get
like
your
real...
fucking ass up. Like you suck, asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
fine.
That shit fucking fires me, bro. So I'll put stuff on like that, and I'm like, like I don't care what I have today, and I remember everything that I went through, like all that stuff.
All the pain.
So. Yeah, I think like, and also too for me, something that's helped me keep going as well is, like you said, your family. I think that's one of the biggest driving factors. And my son just turned 2 years old in May, and like it was just crazy how fast it's gone, you know.
It gets faster, man.
But yeah, I know, bro, and I'm not looking forward to it. But I've seen him grow, and every single day it just motivates me so much more. And I think for me, and like it's crazy because I've been thinking about this a lot. I think a lot of real estate agents or entrepreneurs or people that want to start a business and they start it for a couple months and then they give up, right? I think that the light at the end of the tunnel is always there, but it just everybody's length of that tunnel is different.
That journey.
Yeah, that journey is different. Sometimes it happens quicker than others. Some people get into real estate and they're a 21-year-old kid and they're good with social media and they blow up. Some try the same thing and try to duplicate it, and they're not able to do it, right? Yep. But aside that, I think it's more of the hunger, and like for me, I got addicted to growth, like just being able to be better today than I was yesterday, right? And even if it's by an inch, I mean, you said it on your story recently, like you don't have to from one day to the next expect to lose 100 pounds, right? It's not gonna happen that way. But if you try to lose a quarter of a pound a day or half a pound a day, eventually all that adds up, right? And I mean, you've seen that meme where that guy's digging and there's like that little piece, right? If you would just kept going. And I think that, like for me, all of us in general, I think that the light at the end of the tunnel, if anybody's watching this, I mean, you just keep going, man. Like regardless of what your dreams are, whatever it is, just continue to strive and eventually we'll get there. You know what I mean? So
and make it fun. That's the most important thing.
Bro,
like
you gotta love what
we
you
all
do.
like if you just see it as a job, like that's all it's gonna be, and you're gonna get tired of it. And everybody complains about the job.
Yeah.
Make it fun.
Yeah.
You
Find the fun in it.
And I think at the end of the day, like everybody has to make money somehow, right? Like the money does make the world go around. It doesn't. I don't think it defines like pure happiness, but it definitely helps you get to your goals and what you want to do.
Well, shit, I spent a lot of money on our last trip, so you got to make it.
It helps, you know what I'm saying? But I think if you just, like you said, if you just make it fun, if you don't, it's very simple, bro. Like if you don't like what you're doing, do something else, right? I tell my wife that all the time. It's funny because I joke with her and like. She's like, oh, like she's not happy about something very, very small, right? And I'm sitting there like this, like, oh my gosh. I'm like, look, you don't like that? You don't like those shoes? Get rid of them. Put on some new ones. Your feet won't hurt.
Bro,
get
she's
some.
Watching this
get
right
some.
now.
I hope she does. Please. And it's funny because we have this conversation all the time. And I tell her, bro, and like it's just like it's that simple, bro. Like life can be very simple if you just get rid of the negative things. You know, like you said, like kind of. Just trim the fat, you know. Get rid of the people, the negative people in your life, and just surround yourself with positivity. You know?
And you'll be surprised. Like the identifying problem sizes is one of the biggest challenges a lot of people have. Not necessarily just like men, women, kids.
Yeah.
Like sometimes something that's maybe a little very small to you, may be very small to you, but it may be way bigger for somebody else.
Yeah.
So like I used to have I had my team, and a lot of times they would come with problems, right? But they're not massive problems. They're not problems that were so big where they like nobody died, right?
Yeah.
So I always used it, and it's something that I learned, and I learned it from a podcast. It's like, is it a blimp or is it a catastrophe? You understand the difference. Something that could blow up for a short period of time, or is something that you cannot control. There's nothing you can do, like death, war, you know, like that. Those are the things that you can't control. So I put it in perspective, and a lot of times people just have to be put in perspective. You say blimp or catastrophe. And a lot of times you tell them the story and they understand that. They're like, it's just a blimp. It's just something that blows up for a short period of time that would just blow over.
Yeah, I think picking your battles is huge, and alongside that, because everybody encounters some kind of downfall in their life or whatever. If you're able to choose and pick your battles, right, like you said, right, is it, do I want to choose the blimp or the catastrophe, you know? And it's like, which route do I want to go, right? What's gonna make the road easier in the long run, you know? So but I mean, so I know we kind of talked about a lot already, but Ricardo, I know you've recently dipped into more of like the land side and stuff like that as far as an agent. How did you transition? Like, what did you run into somebody, you meet somebody, or like what? Like, how does that? Because I probably see so many videos of you just
cowboy,
bro. I'm
so
waiting for your music video.
I think Martin helped me out a lot on the growth part of it.
He's helped everybody, bro.
So like obviously we started at Lennar, and we started from the 130s and the price points of 130s.
That's how I met Ricardo, bro. It's crazy. We started
in the same class.
Same class and everything, bro. It's wild,
And I remember once I made good money my first year in Lennar, and that's when I ended up purchasing my home.
Yeah.
And I ended up switching over as a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Martin was like, hey, bro, like, you have a nice home. Why aren't you selling to these kind of clients? And I was just like, what? And he's like, why are you? Like, people are scared to talk to people in this price points, but they're just like any other people. And he would always put that into my head. And I was like, bro, you're right. Yeah. And I do own a home, like, in this price point.
Nice house.
In this price point. So why am I scared about it? So what I started doing was I started pushing out homes that were in higher end and higher end and higher end. And then custom home builders reached out to me, and they were like, hey, come and promote this stuff.
You like what you're doing.
Now I'm a listing agent for them. And then they referred me over to
somebody else.
Yeah, like to a developer and stuff like that, and that's how it just started progressing like that.
That's beautiful, bro.
So
it's crazy to see like how much you've evolved, and like, I mean, obviously, like, we started at Lennar together. It's crazy. I remember vividly me and Ricardo having a conversation at Lennar, bro. We're doing like a role playing test to get into to get on the floor, bro. Like there, and it was like the most cringy, like cut dry, like. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like the training that we had even wasn't the best. Like, we don't even have those conversations anymore. It's like just be yourself, you know. But
you have to be.
Again, you know, Lennar has their own ways or whatever, and I hope Lennar sees this. But they have their own ways, and you know.
Back in the day, and just so you know, before you guys got into the industry, Lennar was my favorite. 100, 100%.
They were owned by a totally different, like.
Well, so you think about it, like if you go into some of the luxury communities, like the Alamo Ranches, like where they had the stone, the brick, the stucco, Village Builders.
That's true.
We would sell those all the time. Yeah, well, that's before they bought Cal Atlantic. Yeah. And dude, back in the day, you could make any deal work, and then throw another bonus on top. That's just rule of thumb.
Yeah.
And then literally. I don't know what ended up happening, but I know they had like a big issue where like the main guy there, he was kind of like slapped in the wrist. He's like, hey, we need more production coming out of you guys.
Yeah.
You got good sales, but like Lennar's different in every city. I don't know if you know this.
100%, yeah.
So they got some badass houses. Yeah. And we had some badass houses. Like the Village Builders, I used to love them. I was a huge fan of them.
Well, and it's crazy because when we got there, they were like transitioning out of it. So we saw a little bit of it, but still, like we never really got the luxury of that side of it, you know?
My biggest check, like I was probably in the business maybe like a year and a half. The biggest check I got was like $25,000.
Dang.
At that time, so it was a 5%.
You've been in it, what, 12 years?
500. I'm on my 11th year.
11 years.
So
this was what, like
that was
like 10 years ago.
2014.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, like 2014, 2015.
So that was a lot.
And money has changed so much. 100%. Like, everybody makes a joke.
25,000 is one deal now.
Yeah.
Like
everybody makes the joke about San Antonio. And again, I mean, I'm not 100% familiar with every other market, but they say the new $25 is like a $100 bill, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's just the way
life feels. Think about it, barber. Like I pay my barber $100.
Yeah.
You know. So, but you know, you want service, you want it quick. Like you're gonna pay that price.
I will not pay them $100.
Dude, they're gonna. I'm telling you,
every now and then I'll throw them a bone.
No, I was talking to someone. I was like, man, I remember when haircuts were like $7.
Yeah, bro.
But you know, it's cool too because I think any interaction that we end up having with anybody, because we have that entrepreneur spirit, just like you mentioned, like. You could pour into your landscaper. Now he has a big landscaping company. You could pour into your barber. Now he's doing some crazy shit. Yeah, like the Barron brothers.
Yeah.
Like they have fade culture here in San Antonio.
Oh, you're talking about Adrian and them?
Yeah, Adrian. Yeah. Dude, back in the day, like, so it was crazy. Like that's another crazy story. You got to get them in here.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like they can tell you some crazy stories on like how they got started and where they're at now. Because like I remember like. There was an incident that ended up happening. So Sergio, for the day of my wedding, he ended up cutting my hair because his brother couldn't. But there's a crazy backstory where, you know, they had to overcome those difficulties too. So, and then, you know, fast forward, like whenever we were on the chair talking, we were talking about entrepreneur stuff. Like, hey, what are you going to do now? Hey, you're making money. And then like fast forward 6-7 years, they just never gave up with it. Now they have this national, like I'm over here watching YouTube videos and then I see their sponsor ads at the bottom. Yeah. Like just seeing that happen brings me a whole lot of joy.
Yeah, bro.
And you never know what conversation can you have for someone that's just going to elevate them. Yeah. And then too, they're going to be like, man, yeah, Rick was able to put me on or Ricardo was able to put me on.
You know, I think about that way too often. I think about that way too often as far as like the conversations, right? Like, I mean, we miss 100% of the shots we don't take. And I think about that way too often, regardless of like the simplest things. But if you have an idea and you just don't give it a shot, like you're never going to know, you know? So,
you know, a lot of times people like partners for that reason.
Yeah.
Because there's the analytical person and then there's the one with the fucking balls. Like, hey, let me go out there, let me go get it. Exactly.
Let me fucking be the risk taker. Yeah. You come up with the ideas, I'll fucking go do it.
Because and too, I think insurance policies, right? Like, hey, look, think about it.
You gotta have a good one. No. You're gonna have that crazy.
No. Well, see, this is what I'm telling you. Like, insurance policies, like, yeah, you're gonna buy $100,000 car, but are you gonna drive off the lot without insurance?
Yeah.
Shit. God forbid something happens, at least I got that as a fallback. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't have that fallback, so they're not willing to take those risks.
Yeah.
But if they did have that fallback, like one of my cousins, I love him to death, my favorite cousin, he has a painting company, and he was working for a painting crew forever, right? And he was making like $35,000 to $40,000.
Yeah.
And we went to Hooters, right? Sat down. I'm over here trying to pour into him because I'm over here pouring into everybody else, you know, help building them up. And I told my cousin, I was like, look, man, I was like, you're already doing the work. The only thing is that you got to take what you've already done, and you got to get the relationships you already have, and you got to branch off and go on your own. I would say if you ever need it, here's a check for $10,000. Use it if you need it. And then 2, pride, right? Like they would never accept it, right? But they always know, hey, just in case, I got that in my back pocket. Like I'm glad that I do, right? And then 2, that's a little bit of encouragement they need to take that leap. Hey, if I fall, I got this as a backup. And I think a lot of people just need that. So especially for newer agents that are just getting started, sometimes they need us as insurance to be like, hey, I got you in case you fall. Let me pick your ass up, dust you off, and send you back out.
I think that's huge in today's real estate just environment, right? I think there's so many real estate agents that decided that they see so-and-so making money. They decided they wanted to join. They get their license. They sell 1 or 2 homes a year. And they join the wrong group, right? And I'm not saying that we're the right group, but I guarantee you that every single person that comes through our doors, we make sure we take care of them.
Oh, 100%.
Right? And I think it's huge, bro. Before I even joined our brokerage, I had talked to Ricardo. I hadn't even talked to you yet. And I talked to Ricardo, and Ricardo was like, bro, it's different. I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just way different, right? And I'm like, well, what is different about it? And he's like, bro, just the support, the camaraderie, everything in that we have going is just different. And so, of course, I asked him to provide a couple examples, and he did. And obviously, you have played a huge role in so many people's lives. So I thank you for that, bro. Like you've played a huge role in a lot of people's lives, and just being yourself, right? Which is dope that we have that the first episode of this podcast we're doing it like this, because we keep it 100% real, but. I think that back to what I was saying, as far as an agent or any agent that gets involved in real estate, whether you're struggling or you want to increase business, whether you're struggling, whether you're new to the business, I think joining the right environment, the right community and everything is huge. And a lot of people are very quick to just give up, right? Instead of just seeking for help, right? It's all about putting that pride to the side, because for me personally, I hit a plateau, and I was doing a decent amount of real estate a year. I still do. But I was ready to grow, right? And I seen Ricardo grow, and I was like, wait a damn minute. Hold on, wait a minute. What is he doing different, right? So I hit him up, and then sure enough, we went to lunch, and then, the rest is history, bro. But, I think that's huge. Wouldn't you agree as far as, what are your thoughts on that?
There's a lot of different types of leadership mentalities, and I think if you have the right mentality, you want everybody to win with you, right? So, there's the whole saying, there's no I in team. But, So for me, I started seeing it's like, man, I'm over here building up a lot of these agents, which is great, but I also want them to win at a high level. So I want to pour into them. I want to make sure that the same life that I've created, I can show them how to create that for themselves. I'll show them how to have investment properties. I'll show them how to have all these relationships, so that way they can grow. And then 2, just like a lot of the other things that we're investing in, like, right now, Ricardo's already been a part of Real Title. You're about to be a part of Real Title. Like, I want all of us to win off of that, because we're already putting in the work. Might as well get rewarded for it too. So I think that there's a lot of different vehicles that I feel we're so busy in our business. We need somebody to kind of hold us back, be like, hey, you got to also look into this. You can also pass this on to your kids. Is what we're doing it for. So I think it's not having a selfish mentality has a lot to do with that type of environment or culture that we're building.
I think the culture we have is crazy, bro, because of that. Like, and what's even more dope is that the business model allows us to pour into each other, and not only make our broker better, right? But it allows us to make more on the stock that we receive for just selling real estate that we're already doing. And then it allows us to attract more agents that need help, build them up, and make revenue share with them, help them build their agents up. And it's just like a snowball effect. It's crazy that it's even a thing, like real estate is if you, any general brokerage is brick and mortar, or the old school, like, hey, you were with Remax for how long?
I was with Remax for 4 years. I paid them over so I paid them over I want to say like $200,000 while I was there. And it was very expensive. And then it was actually it brought a smile to my face, because yesterday, we're not really big on recruiting. Like, we're more of attraction. We're not like a billboard, right? So when people come, they come because they trust us, and they're relying on us, right? It's not like we're trying to like shove it down their throat. So for us yesterday, when I saw that from the organization that we've built for the last 4 years, we've had 225 people come and join us and trust our process and trust our industry. As far as us, there's 20,000 agents in real right now. I was agent number 871. So this was 4 years ago. So for me, that was like a big leap of faith. Because even like I remember I slid in Ricardo's DMs. I was like, bro, I like what you're doing. Like we can. And then too, it's funny because like he was still with a different company, and then I was like, hey, I want you to be a part of this. I want you to, and I was like terco. And I honestly, because I felt that he had a lot of similar qualities that we had, right? And I felt like a lot of what we had, like, as far as our team or the energy was very similar. And I remember he was like, I don't want to go into the building. I do not want to go into the building. And I remember he was wearing like a salmon suit, right? And it was raining like crazy.
I was trying to back out.
He was trying to back out, right? And it was raining. I was like, bro, I'll go out there with the umbrella. He's like, no, I don't want you to come out here. I'm like, dude, just fucking come. You'll dry off. And then sure enough, it was probably like one of the best nights we've ever had.
That's crazy.
And dude, when talking about buying out the bar, that was that night. But dude, we have some nice photos too.
That's dope, bro.
We took some nice photos. I actually have that same photo whenever he calls me. Like, so
that's crazy, bro.
But dude, the rest is history. But like, I saw it. I saw his potential. I saw what he could have done, and I was like, look, let me help you get there.
I like the fact that we're able to do stuff like that. Like for instance, like the basketball thing, right? We started on Fridays. I think we had we went to a mixer at Topgolf, right? We got our brokers together. We were there, right? Ricardo's basically Tiger Woods, right?
Yeah,
so he's basically Tiger Woods. Dude. I saw his swing. I was like, I'm out. I went to the other bay. I was like, I'm not doing it.
No, you're quiet.
So I was real quiet over there in the corner. So but it's cool because there you had an idea. You were like, hey, Rick, let's get a gym, right? And I'm like, a gym, right? And he's like, let's play basketball. And I'm like, screw it, right? So then we told people from our brokerage, and it's been going for almost a month now.
Yeah, almost a month. I love that, honestly.
It's fun, bro. It's fun. It's very good exercise.
Is that obviously I used to play basketball, right? And like, you have this mentality going back to it. You're like, man, I got this. I'm over here airballing and shit. But like,
you gotta start somewhere.
With that being said, with all that happening, I was thinking about it not that long ago. I was like, dude, this just goes to show how much you need to keep practicing.
Yeah, bro.
Like
with anything.
It doesn't matter what it is. Like you just gotta keep practicing because you will lose it. It sucks because I'm over here like, sauce it up and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I know I could get it back.
Right. But it takes repetitive, and it just like everything else, right? It's crazy. But I mean, like, what came from that? Like, you understand, like, damn, like, I need to keep practicing this, right?
But dude, I love it though. Like I love.
It's been fun, bro.
Every Friday, I'm like, bro, if you're gonna play any other day, let me know when you're gonna play. I want to get my shit back.
Yes,
like,
bro.
I'm determined. Yeah. That's one thing about me. Like, if I suck at something, I want to be.
And you're gonna keep doing it till you.
The very best.
Catch 'em, baby.
It's like that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really fun. We've gotten like at least, I think the first day we had like 17 guys there.
Yeah, that was a lot.
And I do have a lot of stuff that I have in my mind too that I kind of want to get together for our brokerage. Obviously, I'll include you guys and everybody else. But there's a lot of stuff. It's just fun that we get to do stuff like that, and it's more of like just. I don't know. It's not really, I don't want to say brotherhood because we have a lot of females in our organization too, but it's just like a family, you know? And I don't think I've ever felt that anywhere. It's crazy.
And like going back to all of that, because, you know, everybody's always trying to compare brokers and everything. Like, I'm very like, I always go and I try to read everybody and everything. And like, obviously I could have joined with whoever. You know what I mean? Like, I could have gone and done that and gone with KW. But I'm always watching everybody that's with everybody. And I'm like, yeah, that's not my people. Like, that's not my type of people. And so it does come back to all of that. Like, who do you fit in with? Because I might have been for KW or that group of people. I might have been for EXP. I might have been for Remax, whatever. But now that I'm in this, and I'm like, this is my people.
Facts.
Like, I'm gonna stick with this. I don't care how much I gotta pay in. I don't care what my split is. I don't care what it is. Like, this is it.
It feels
and it's crazy because like when you start seeing and you hear the stories like, oh yeah, so and so got into it with this agent, but we took care of that. I was like, yeah, y'all took care of it? Y'all didn't even call me? He's like, yeah, dude, I had his back. And then I was all like, man, y'all just met just because we're all here together. Yeah. So it's pretty badass to see it. But, like, I always saw it, like, more of the Spartan mentality, right? So, like, if you want to swim with sharks, you got to swim with sharks. If you want to be the shark around guppies, then you going to eat them up, you know? It's like you're a wrong circle.
Yeah, and then joining with Real, like, obviously I'm not trying to say, like, join with Real.
Join with Real.
But
be
no,
real.
But like literally,
we
like,
keep it real.
My income has just, I don't know, I want to say 10x since I joined. Yep. But because of the people that I'm surrounded with and all the mentorship and everything. I could have gone with anybody else, and maybe that would have been the case, but what's working for me is working for me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
facts.
Yeah.
That's why I'm... Dude, you just like a proud parent, right? Like, I'm over here sitting back, seeing all everybody grow.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy.
Like, man, those are my guys right there.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, I remember one time, like, obviously, we still go through our ups and downs.
Of course.
It's like the stock market. It goes up and it goes down.
100%.
It goes up and goes down, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I've had my downs, and Martin's been like, he's called me one time. He's like, hey, bro, remember who the fuck you are?
Yeah.
Like,
I had to.
Who the fuck you are? You're Ricardo motherfucking Hernandez. And I was just like, fuck, right. Like,
you know what?
Fuck? I'm not a little bitch. Like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, because he kind of went a little quiet for a bit. I'm like, bro, you all right?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And dude, literally, that's where he fucking went on his fitness journey.
Yeah, bro, went
and
crazy.
everything.
Dude,
Went crazy.
Like, if you're not doing anything, you're gonna get depressed, and you're gonna fall into that.
100%, bro.
And two, you just kind of got to be that crutch sometimes. But then you also got to take that crutch away and be like, hey, you got to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
Because like
it helps you remember.
He had a lot, and two, like, hey, if you're not getting the support somewhere else, we have to be that support.
Yeah.
So like at the time, he was also like, everybody was relying on him. Everybody would look to him and, hey, help me out, help me out. And I'm all like, hey, bro. How can I get better at
social media? How can I do this? And I'm over here struggling, trying to bring myself
correct.
Up, and then yet I'm over here trying to give them advice on
that's one of the hardest things to do, bro. Because also too, like, I've had my ups and downs too. I'd tell you one of my hardest points in my life was when my son was born, right? I took 6 months off, like flat out.
Standard.
Didn't go out. Didn't go.
Not even 6 days.
I told my mom, I'm gonna work even
harder.
That
was tough for me. I had a lot on the pipeline, so it was cool. But still, like, I mentally, I was enjoying so much of my son that I just, like, he just made me not want to go anywhere, right? So I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna stay home. I stayed at home for 6 months, bro, trying to go from being like go every day, and then just flat out, right, just literally like plateau to the bottom, right, just bare bottom, and then realizing I had to kick myself in the ass and be like, hey, look, you got to get back out there, right? That was the hardest part. And also too, like you said, you're kind of hit a point where you're talking about people who are relying on you, and you're like, man, I can't even rely on myself right now. Like, I'm trying to pick myself up, you know what I mean? So that was for me. I had a small team and they were still producing, but they would reach out to me a lot. One girl even left my team, and I just told her flat out. I told them flat out, like, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. This is where I am in my life. If you guys want to continue to rock with me, cool. If not, by all means, do what you got to do. I'm just letting you know for some time I'm probably not going to be able to provide as much value because of this, what happened in my life.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Like, being real with them, because like, if you can't give yourself 100%, why are you going to go out there? Like, if I'm going to help a client out, I better be giving myself 100% before I could give them 100%.
Facts.
I don't want to be that person and give them 90%, 70%, 80%. It's not fair to them. And it's not fair to yourself.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. And that was one of the hardest parts of my life, because, like, mentally, and of course my wife doesn't know, and nobody really saw it, but just mentally I was, like, at my lowest low. And you would think, like, oh, man, you just had a son, like, you should be happy, right? Like, bro, just mental darkness is one of the hardest places to get out of.
100%.
And I feel like dragging myself out of that, bro, like, I'm glad I went through it, because I'll never go there again, bro. Like, I'll never be there again. And, like, I just know I've been there before, and I'm like, nah, you ain't going back there. You know what I mean?
You have to go there, bro. Yeah. Like, if you're stagnant and you're, like, plateauing out, you have to go there.
You have to, bro.
Because you're never going to know what it feels like to feel that success once you're breaking out of it. Because you just feel the same thing all across the board. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, my wife and I, like, prior to our son, right, we were actually having issues having a baby. And we got heavily involved in our church. And, I mean, bro, we had like 4 miscarriages, bro, back to back. And it was over a course of almost 2 years. It was one of the darkest points of my life.
you want to talk about having to be the backbone and also support your wife and have that conversation,
bro. Let her get whatever shoes she wants. All right?
I'm telling her, bro. You gotta be comfortable. Let her get whatever
shoes she wants,
bro. It was
take her shopping today.
It was rough, dog. Babe, I'm taking you shopping. No, but bro, it was tough, and we rode through it together. You know, we had to have conversations of like, imagine having that conversation like, hey, baby, like, what if we can't have a baby? You know, what are we gonna do? Do we adopt? Do we do this? Got tested. Doctors told us, hey, I honestly don't know why you guys can't have a baby. Like, we just kept miscarrying, bro. Yeah, bro, we got tested. We got everything. And then, to be honest, we started getting more involved in our church, started going more consistently, started getting closer to God. And once we did, it's crazy, bro. Like, it just, everybody says it's God's timing, bro. Yeah, one day to the next. It just, bro, like 9 months of just a very fluent and nothing wrong with the pregnancy or nothing. Like, nothing ever happened. And I'm like, bro, this is insane. So, like, I always give that testimony to people when they're in a dark spot. I talk to my brother all the time. My brother has his highs and his lows, and I tell him all the time, like, bro, don't forget. Like, at the end of the day, you got to remember, you know, what had you at your highest high. Go back to that mentality and think about the things that helped keep you up there, right? Because you got to dig like that, you know? It's crazy, but I know we've been talking for a decent amount of time. I mean, we can go on for days, and obviously this ain't gonna be the only podcast that we're on, bro. I feel like we have we could keep doing months worth. Yeah, we'll do this often. Yeah.
This is good, honestly.
It is, bro.
Like, for me, I can't really talk about this type of stuff.
You gotta air it out.
No, for sure.
Like, if I go talk about it with my wife, she's gonna be like, "What? Like,
oh yeah,
where'd this come from?"
Yeah,
and stuff. And it's like, man, we
got
some.
We got problems too.
Stuff, bro.
We don't want to show you guys how.
No.
Like, we don't want to show you our weaknesses.
100%.
Like, we gotta bring you guys up.
Yep. And you got to
so
be, bro. You got to be that shelter, you know, that backbone. And if we're the backbone that falls, bro, the whole ship sails.
Oh, 100%.
And that's the way it's got to be, you know. So
think about it. You're doing it for your family, but there's gonna be sometimes you're also gonna be doing it for your parents, your cousins, and everything. They really look out for you. Be like, hey, I wonder what Rick would say. I wonder what Ricardo would say. Yeah. How would he approach this? And then they're gonna come to you, and you got to be ready for it.
Yeah.
So. What is it? Only pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah.
So those diamonds are coming for you guys.
100%. Now, I guess. Well, I want to end it on this. I have just a question. I would like both of you to kind of give your opinion. Obviously, you know, like the cliche of success is, oh, I have the business, I have this, I have that, I have money, I have all this money, right? I'm taking trips, I'm buying rollies, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right? I'll just flex real quick, right? Show it for the camera. Show it, right? Yeah, he's got a rollie. But what would you say defines success for yourself, right? Because you both had it. You both have been at your lowest low, your highest high. You've had the cars, you have everything in your life, you have happiness, whatever. What would you say ultimately defines success in yourself, in your opinion?
So, I think I got there's different places that I can share as far as where I felt like I felt success, right? And I feel like what I consider success today is different compared to what I considered it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So when I was on top of the world, well, actually, I'll backtrack it. So one of my mentors, Mark Harris, he's been coaching me for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
Well, he said, Martin, when you become successful, if you want the trophies, you want the awards, they're all going to come with success.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're a top producing agent, you know, being on magazines, which I was, getting all the awards, hitting Hall of Fames, making the money, all of that comes with the territory. So just go and become successful. Yep. So for me, that was that milestone. It's like, how did I know that when I was truly, truly successful in this? For 4 years, I put my head down and I was just grinding. Yeah. I did not look up. I missed a lot of family trips. I missed a lot of, like, I didn't go to Disney World with my actual family just because I was so invested in trying to make it. And I think everybody has a issue trying to find their place in a lot of stuff. So when I was just getting started, like especially for newer agents, I felt like when I had a hefty amount of money in, you know, my account, and then too, I wasn't really too stressed about the money. Yeah. And then I was in the magazines, and then I was driving the car I wanted, not what I could afford at the time. Yeah. So for me, all that was a sign of success. Now it's crazy because once you've already felt that you have it all, right, and it becomes a little harder to really find that happiness. You turn to the simple, So, like, for me, when my kid hits a fucking ball playing baseball or makes a shot, I'm over here cheering. For me, that's success, because I know if I wasn't able to do what I do, then they wouldn't be able to get that. And I think another bit that I like, and it's a little flex for me too. Like, the Rolex, the monetary stuff is pretty cool. But I was able to, last year I took pretty much the year off, but just off of referrals, I still did over $20 million in production.
That's
and
freaking.
Then on top of that,
take a whole year off,
bro, and still sell over
I was
20
quiet.
million.
Everybody's
Bro,
like, "Hey man, you fell off." I was all like, "No man, it's still all there."
Yeah, no.
I never
Check the board. It's still there. Yeah.
So, and then it's crazy. Yesterday, one of my boys, he ended up texting me. He's like, "Hey man, congratulations! Like, I saw that you hit." I was like, I didn't hit a NAREP, and I was like, dude, I didn't even apply.
Yeah.
And then 2, I was like, but they got their numbers wrong. They're short like $5 million. And he's all like, and then I showed him
because on our numbers
on our app, you can do it.
Yeah,
like,
you can. Yep.
I was like, look, and then he's like, oh man, yeah, we'll see what I could do because he's a part of the board.
Yeah.
So then, like, I was able to take that time off, and for me, that was success because my clients, the people that I build, you know, I pour into my clients as well. Like, they also felt that support, but I was able to do something for my kids. I bought them each a house last year. So whenever, and I have them all rented out. They're all within a little triangle, so they're not too far away from each other, but they're still close enough, and they're all really nice houses.
Yeah.
So whenever my kids come of age, they get the option. They can either keep that house and they can live in that house. That's their house. Or they can sell it, take the profits, and, you know, go anywhere else. But at the same time, like, you know, our parents were very fortunate for them just building strong-willed individuals. And that's who we became. But for us to be able to take care of our family for, you know, in 10 years, like, we're already doing it now. So we're planting those seeds that are eventually going to sprout. So those are the things that I kind of define success right now. It's not necessarily for ourselves, but it's what we're able to do for others.
That's solid, bro.
So for me, that's
what would you say?
Well, I have a whole, like, my way of seeing success is a little bit different than that. I think that more so I'm hitting my goals.
Yeah.
And, like, success, I don't think there's such thing as success, because if you are wanting to hit your goals, like, there's a never-ending story for that.
Sure,
like, there's always, like, that next goal that you gotta hit. If you get stuck with that one goal and you finish that goal, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? That's what you gotta get to.
Yeah.
And so really my success, to me, in a sense, is more so knowing, like, I'm never having to worry again about, can I make it? Am I going to be able to pay my bills? Am I going to be able to take care of my family? Like, there was a point in time where I was always fearful of things, and, like, getting out of that mindset of fearing the unknown and just knowing that no matter what, everything's going to be okay, because I know what I got in me. That was success.
That's beautiful, bro.
That was
that's beautiful. That's tough, because I mean, both of your descriptions of success is very, very special, because two different perspectives, you know, but like you said, I mean, everybody comes from a different place. And for me personally, like, I think that success for me is part of what you're saying, right? Being able to learn from any situation and stuff like that, in two parts, right? Being able to have that mindset and that characteristic, that skill, to be able to realize, hey, you know what? Everything is going to be okay, right? Regardless of what it is, we've had our lows, and we will have more lows, right? That's just the way life is. And also, too, you know, just success to me is seeing my family happy, right? I mean, you touched on it too. So I relate to both of you guys, you know, as far as the mindset and family based as well. I mean, the mindset goes a long way as far as the family, not worrying about or knowing that you can provide for your family and stuff like that. Knowing at the end of the day, I can lay my head on my pillow and know that I did the right thing that day. To push my family forward, right? Because at the end of the day, we're the breadwinners, right? We do what we got to do, and we got to continue. But it's always dope to have brotherhood like this, and people in our brokerage, not only brothers but sisters as well, to be able to push each other and really create a community like that.
And I love seeing the competition too.
Yeah,
because everybody loves competition.
It is, bro. It is.
But it's great.
It is.
Like,
I love it, bro.
Seeing, like, you know, Alyssa.
Yeah.
She's killing it. That's what I was thinking about.
Crushing it,
what's
bro.
crazy is that when I was at
Olivia. She's no longer.
It's not
Oliver.
Oliver.
Okay, so I met her prior to
French.
Wait, what was her name before?
Alyssa Thibault.
Thibault. Okay, you're right.
I don't know what happened with that. But anyways, back
but
to
it's
the story.
Oliver now.
Yeah,
So,
Oliver.
her very first sale was with me.
Oh
at
shoot.
Lennar, when
Damn,
she
that's
became
crazy.
a real estate agent,
Yeah.
bro. And so when I've seen her grow, I'm like, holy shit.
Amazing. You know, and
crazy,
I'm so
bro.
damn proud of that girl, dude.
most unselfish person too.
Yeah.
Bro,
I'm gonna tell you a story right now. It's
she's
crazy.
very like the biggest hearted person you can
Yeah.
be,
Biggest hardest
bro.
person.
We're gonna have to get her on the
Oh,
podcast.
100%. I already told her about it. She's
Her
she's down.
She's in.
also Rebecca, dude.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
both of
I
them.
heard
Yeah,
Rebecca's
both of
killing
them.
it
Both of
too.
those two are one of
She's
the
a silent
most
killer, dude.
proudest
Yeah.
that I am
Rebecca's
of.
a killer.
I've watched them how they've grown.
Yeah.
And they're just amazing people,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not buying a house with me,
You gotta buy a
buy a house with them. I'm not even
100%.
kidding you, dude. Like
Yeah.
they probably are already, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Killing it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. they're
So
good
so
people.
I'll tell you this. So recently Alyssa joined our brokerage
Yes.
and she came from a different company.
Yep.
But you talk about unselfish. So we were talking about season tickets,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I was like, I don't know if I want to renew mine. I only went to 5 games. I could
Yeah.
just,
Mhm.
just buy them
Just
if I
buy
want to
those
take the
tickets
family.
outright. Yeah. If you
So
want
instead
to.
of having to go through all
Yeah.
that, I was finding people. I was just giving away tickets at one point,
Yeah.
right? So then I was like, hey, she got like row 2, right? So
Yeah.
she got like right next to
Yeah.
the opponent's players bench. Like
I've seen
right
her
there.
pictures with her son. Like,
Yeah,
bro,
they're-
she's like right there.
dude,
Yeah.
the kid's on the floor.
He might as well be
Yeah.
doing layups with.
Dude, and he's a great he whooped me one time. No, it was
No,
him
he's
and
really good.
him and my
Is he? That's
son. Him and my
crazy.
son against me, right? And
Yeah.
I was all like, "Hey, pick and roll. Like
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
got to learn how to pick and
Yeah.
roll, because that honestly, that's your way to the
Yeah.
basket." But going back to Alyssa being unselfish, dude, she gave up her season tickets to open up an office for all of her agents to come and do their thing there.
Dang.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing.
I seen her
storefront.
her stories about that.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, like she's not giving too much info, but you could tell
course.
what she's doing.
Yeah, it's right up the street.
Bro,
That's
she's-
crazy,
they're
bro.
doing-
So she worked really hard for that,
Yeah.
because, like just her presence is,
Uh-huh.
very much appreciated just out there.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
a
yeah.
big fan, and
Mhm.
she's a big fan of everybody.
She deserves what she's.
Yeah, 100%.
What's coming
She's
to her,
got
yeah.
for
her.
That's good, bro. Yeah, man, that's amazing. I mean, like I said, we could talk forever, and then obviously this ain't gonna be the first one,
Yeah,
and
no.
or the last one that
Yeah.
we're
We gotta do
gonna
this
be.
more
Yeah, bro, we will do it more often.
We
but-
gotta do it once a week, just like we were doing
Yeah,
basketball.
100%. We could
You know,
definitely
Honestly,
do it.
I would have
Yeah.
loved to do it on the basketball court.
We got to do it one day. We
That'd
got to
be
do it
sick.
soon, bro. Let's do it at like the Frost Center or something. That'd be crazy. We gotta get the right look.
Hey, bro, I know a janitor
Yeah.
that just opened the back door for us.
We could do it in different areas, but yeah. So I mean, obviously we're gonna bring different guests on this podcast, and I mean people that you know, people that I know, and it's just gonna be a fun platform, right? To just keep it real, you
Yeah,
know,
I
and
love
and
this. This
yeah,
is great, and I
it's
think
amazing.
that's good.
So. But anybody that's tuned in, we appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you gained some real value from anything that these guys said or myself. We have a lot of experiences, and like I said, it's not going to be the last. So we appreciate you guys joining. Make sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment, let us know what you think or what you want to hear, what you want us to talk about. Even if you want Ricardo to do push-ups, because of course he's flexing the whole time we're here. But
He's like, can I do 10 push-ups?
I've been working out.
yeah, he's been working out. We'll talk about his journey later on, about his fitness journey. He's getting swole, but yeah, guys, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Peace.